played out almost that way. But President Johnson did not say that it had to wait. He said that I have a great agenda and I just got through. Remember, this was December. The Civil Rights Act of '64 had just passed in July. So we're coming 6 months afterwards, and we did not expect him to commit, but we did expect him. We were really kind of letting him know that we had to pursue voting rights.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. That was Andrew Young, who was at a meeting at the White House with Martin Luther King Jr. and others, and Lyndon Johnson, as portrayed in the movie Selma, where they portrayed Johnson as saying that, you know, you're going to have to wait on voting rights, which is what King wanted Congress to pass and an LBJ to sign, according to the movie. But you heard Andrew Young say that it wasn't so cut and dry. There was a strategy on the part of LBJ, and a lot of LBJ historians believe that there's a lot of problems with the way LBJ is portrayed in this movie. Joining us now is Dr. Alveda King, my friend, civil rights activist, niece of the late civil rights icon, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Hello, how are you, Doctor? Happy New Year.
Well, hello again to you and your viewing and listening audience. I'm so glad to greet you and join you and to have this opportunity to discuss that Selma movie.
Yes, well, you wrote a piece about it that appeared at Newsmax.com, and very wonderful piece. Talk about your overall feelings. I mean, I believe you say that there are historical inaccuracies, but overall you're glad that the movie was made, correct?
That is exactly how I feel. You have to realize in 1963, it was right in the middle of the tumultuous time with the voters' rights going on, the Civil Rights Act. If you remember, on May 11th, 1963, A.D. and Naomi King's home, the church parsonage, was bombed. That's my parents. We were there in that home. I went on my first march in 1963, a children's march. I did not go to Selma and march on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, but my daddy did. So one inaccuracy, although this is just personal, people would say I'm just being petty, but Daddy was actually there. He was beat brutally on the bridge along with Hosea Williams, Congressman John Lewis, and others. So, of course, I can kind of just say, that's why I still say, I wish it had been more accurate. I agree with Ambassador Andrew Young. It was very strategic. It was not a cold-blooded kind of a situation. There was a lot of strategy. My father attended meetings at the White House as well, Reverend A.D. King with his brother and the other leaders. But I still say that it has historic value. It's historically entertaining, heart-stirring, and soul-stirring. But the challenge is now, will people go to the real history books? Will they examine the truth? Will it pique their interest? So I would still suggest that people see it, but I will say that there are some historic inaccuracies.
All right, let me ask you, when you hear people like Jesse Jackson and others refer to Ferguson as Selma, refer to Michael Brown and others as Emmett Till, I mean, how do you react to that?
I'm going to give you a real life account. During the children's marches, when they were arrested and locked up, one of the little boys, the youngest child who was arrested during those days, was 3 years old, and he was in jail. And one of the reporters said, well, how did you end up in jail, and why were you marching? And the little boy said, I want Cheatham. He couldn't say freedom, but that's what he was marching for, freedom. Now, in Ferguson, the rioters, the outrage and all of that, you ask those people what do they want, then they say, what do we want? Dead cops. So there's a total different feel to this. We want freedom, we want justice, we want equality and equity. Those young people and the mature people in those days, including me, I went on a children's march myself in '63. We were marching for justice, dignity, and freedom, not violence. We were not rebelling against the law, even though many of the police officers during that time were trying to uphold a racist standard. But we were taught by Martin Luther King Jr., my uncle, my daddy, his brother, many, Ambassador Andrew Young, he's very skilled in this, John Lewis, Congressman. We were taught to be non-violent. and the outcome would be freedom and dignity for everyone. That's not
right.
A lot of what we were hearing from everyone with Ferguson or New York with Eric, go all the way back to Trayvon. There were forces that were trying to stir up ill will. And so we keep demanding that there be justice, but nonviolently.
Doctor, I know in 2 days you're going to be at the National Press Club in your capacity as Priest for Life. We'll have you back if you'll come back after that, the day after, maybe on Thursday, and talk about it. Will you do that?
I'll do that. I hope everyone is kind to me. I'll be on the hot seat.
All right, Doctor. Thank you. Dr. Alveda King, we're coming back with Jay Sekulow. Don't go away.